All right, hello and welcome everyone. This is Presidential Diamond Noelle Kruise, and we have Presidential Diamond Jaime Hughes on our Zoom today. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your Wednesday to learn and grow your business. So we are actually going to be sharing some pretty in-depth personal stuff with you guys today. So one of our jobs as a leader is to teach you what we have done right and what we've done wrong, particularly what we've done wrong mistakes. One of the things that I didn't do right when I first started was I did not take notes during calls and Zooms. We didn't have Zooms, but I didn't take notes during calls. And so one of the things I highly recommend that all of you do right now, if you don't have it already, is grab a pen and a piece of paper. Anytime that you are on a Zoom, anytime that you're on a call, anything, be taking notes, because you're going to be able to reference that notebook back and you're going to learn so much. Okay. So anyway, I'm just really excited to chat with you guys today. So 4.5 years ago, not quite 4.5 years ago, but a little over 4 years ago, my girlfriend started posting some before and after pictures on Facebook. And she had previously been in another company. And are you guys having trouble hearing me? No? Okay. So my girlfriend had previously been in another company, and because of that, because Jamie and I, my sister Jamie and I, had both purchased from her. They were mutual friends on Facebook as well. And so she started posting these before and after pictures. And so I was seeing her pictures and Jamie was seeing her pictures, and, came across my newsfeed for a couple of days. And then finally Jamie was like, have you seen what she's been posting? You've got to message her. And I was like, okay, yeah, I've been seeing it. I've been wanting to message her. Thank you for the little nudge. So I messaged her, and they're saying they can't hear me. So if you guys can't hear me, you need to probably exit and come back in and maybe fix your audio, because I think everybody else can hear me. So yeah, they need to exit and fix their audio. Okay, will just keep talking while you guys exit and fix your audio. What was I talking about? Oh, okay. So Jamie gave me a little nudge to message my girlfriend who was posting about these wraps. And I messaged her and I was like, look, I'm a mom, I've got a 2.5-year-old, and I want to know what is in these things. Like, what is this? And I actually messaged her and I was like, so what are these wraps? Like, did you create these? And she was like, no, if I created these, I'd be like a billionaire. I was like, oh, that's probably true. So I just wanted to know I wanted to know the ingredients. I just wanted to know how they worked and like what the deal was. And so what did she do? She had been trying to recruit me into her previous company, which I was not about to dabble in, because I was like, look, if I can go to the corner store and buy that product, there's no need for me to try to sell it to my girlfriends, okay? Because that's just a waste of time and energy. And plus, I knew their compensation plan. It was just no good. So anyway, but she'd been trying to recruit me into that company. So she was really, really smart. I was the first person who had ever reached out to her about being a customer or being a distributor or anything since she started her business, because this was her first week in the business. So what did she do? She put me on the phone with her coach, which happened to be Chad. So she has somebody reach out to her and says, hey, tell me about this. I just have some questions. And she didn't know, because she was brand new in the business. And so she immediately was just set up a call. And she was like, I don't know anything, but I can put you on the phone with my friend who can answer your questions. And I was like, that sounds great. So she immediately set up a call with the three of us. I got on the phone with Jen and Chad, and he proceeded to tell me about the business. And at the time, I was totally closed to the business, even though I was actively looking for something to do from home. When I first started this, I was working 3 part-time jobs with my 2-year-old in tow, just to bring in some extra money for my family. So I was looking for an alternative. I was looking for something to do from home. But I had done a network marketing company before, and I knew the power of network marketing. I knew the power of those compensation plans, but I just figured, I tried my first company for 3 years. I didn't go anywhere. So I was just like, not really looking for a network marketing company again, even though this is totally what God had for me, because my first company just wasn't the right vehicle. This company is the right vehicle. So Chad told me about the business. He answered some product questions. And before I got off the phone with him, I was like, yep, I'm going to do this. I just need to talk to my husband. And he's going to tell me no, but it's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. So I immediately got off the phone with him. And then I called Jamie. my sister. And she is the one who originally had pushed me to message Jen because, you know, she's like, she knows that I'm a procrastinator and I take my time and I need like a little bit of urging to do things sometimes because I'm so frazzled and I'm just like doing a million things at once. And I messaged her and she was like, so what did you find out about the wraps? And I said, they're amazing and we're joining. And she's like, okay, like I don't need one more thing to do. And she'll tell you about that. But you guys, like literally, I had never tried the products before. I had never heard of the company before that day. I got started just a couple of days after that. As soon as my husband came home from his trip, it was literally 2 days later. He came home from Paris. I was like, look, I want to do this business. He said, no, I forbid you to do this business. I said, I'm going to do it anyway and just give me a shot. And within my first week, it was 8 days because I signed up February 20th and there's 28 days in February. Within my first 8 days, I had gone executive. I did not have my kit. I had never tried the products. Okay. So as a new distributor teaching you how did I go diamond in 3 months and double diamond in 4 months, I did not wait for my kit. There's nothing magical in your kit. There's no like magical unicorns in there. If you're waiting to try the products for yourself, that's fine. But guess what? Tens of thousands of people have tried these products and they work, and you have access to all of their testimonies to share with your friends. Oh, and by the way, when you get your kit in the mail, one wrap is not going to transform your body. So technically you're going to get your kit in the mail and then it's going to be another month or 2 or 3 before you really start to see crazy transformations because it takes time to tighten and tone and contour and lose the weight. And some of you, I mean, if you're teeny tiny and like you have like 2 pounds to lose, then maybe you're going to get really good results with your first wrap and you're going to be comfortable sharing that. But so many of you come into this business and you have 50, 100, 150 pounds to lose, right? And that transformation is going to take time. And you're not going to be comfortable putting your results on Facebook. And it's going to take you more wraps and it's going to take you more greens and it's going to take you more products before you get those results. So what you need to be doing is you literally have to start from the moment you sign. I get so many people pre-launched, they start doing a party and they start talking to people before they even sign up for their kit. Because tomorrow is not taking action. If you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it next week, I'm going to really launch my business next month, I'm going to just hit it hard, you're procrastinating and you're not being honest with yourself. You're scared. And I understand that you're scared because this is a scary thing. Joining a new business is scary. Taking on a new venture is scary. Meeting new people, hanging out, doing things like this, like Zooms you've never done before, that's scary. But you have to push past your fear and you have to do it anyway. So Jamie and I were going to talk to you guys. And then we were kind of chatting. We were like, well, there's a couple of other people who are a huge part of our journey. And this, we literally started almost like, well, I know Jamie started 3 days after I did. Melissa was my very first customer. She was my best friend from Fort Bragg, and she messaged me like the day I started, because I was obviously the day I started, what did I start doing? I opened my business by opening my mouth and posting on Facebook, okay? So day I started calling everybody I knew. I started posting on Facebook, right? Because that's what you do. You don't hesitate unless you just want to sit there and not make money. I needed to make money for my family. So I instantly started calling people. I instantly started posting on Facebook, and Melissa called me and she was my very first customer. She was like, look, I've had bariatric surgery and I've been hearing about these wraps for quite a while, but I've never wanted to try them because I wasn't really sure if they were legit. But since you're my friend and I trust you, I'm going to try them through you. And so she became my first customer. And then 5 weeks later, she became a distributor. And so I'm going to let them kind of share their story with you. But and Amanda Marshall is, you know, another huge part of this journey because we all did this together. Came into this business. In 3 months, I had gone diamond. In 4 months, Jamie had gone diamond. In 2.5 months, Melissa had gone diamond. In 4 months, I went double diamond. Like, but you guys, like, we all have the same common thread that runs through all of our stories. And that is literally that we signed up and we got to work and we weren't scared to just take that next step. So Jamie, Melissa, Amanda, like, which one of you wants to caveat off of that? You're unmuted. Oh, that is a very weird sound. Somebody's not muted. Maybe Melissa should talk for a minute. Hold on. Let me do this.
Jamie joined before me. She should go next.
That's true. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to figure out the muting. Mute all. Okay. Jamie, I'm going to try to unmute you and see if I do it, if it works. Unmute. Okay. She has no sound at all.
Okay, this is Jeannie. I don't know if you can hear me. This is all new to me.
This isn't an open forum. I'm so sorry. I don't know who's talking because I can't see you, but if you guys have questions, you can totally post them in the chat, but just make sure you keep yourself muted. Jamie, are you? She doesn't have any sound. Okay, hold on. Mute all. Okay. All right, Melissa, you're up.
Oh, you're so funny. Eric's laughing at me. All right, hey guys, Melissa Raulerson, Triple Diamond, Mel Raleigh on Facebook. Some of you that have been with us for a while have heard our story, but not really some of the pieces that Noelle went into. So I had actually heard about the wrap a year before Noelle ever did. I was working for a 7th Special Forces group down in Florida as a family readiness support assistant, and my husband is active duty, so I literally was working really a few feet away from his team room, and I was happy. When I started the job, I had Kaylin, and I had one other little one that had 12 weeks old when I started the job, and then right after I took the job, I found out I was pregnant with our third. So he was actually deployed, and I sent him a picture of my stick on his deployment. So the reason I shared that is this is all overwhelming to me, right? I finally have my dream job, find out we're pregnant with our third, even though it was a blessing to have that job financially and just for what I wanted in life, you start thinking, oh my goodness, daycare, 2 little ones at that. So I heard about this wrap. There was a girl who added me on Facebook, did not even know her, but oh, maybe she's one of my military spouses that I need to get to know. And she starts posting and posting and posting, and every post she posted was about this stupid wrap. I'm telling you how I felt at the time. I quickly unfriended her when I found out she was not in my battalion. She was, when I say my battalion, I mean my position. She was actually Melissa Gomez's, and she actually is on this adventure with me as well. So we flocked together. But anyway, so I unfriended her. Then I had a friend who was at a local health store who came to me. Our husbands worked together, and she's saying, oh, I'm buying these wraps, and I got it from this local health store, and this is what I don't want to hear it. Because as Noelle mentioned, I am a bariatric patient, and at that point in time, even at having my second child, I was size 4, about 144 pounds, finally completely fit, working out like crazy when I wasn't at work, and I thought it was a scam. So when Noelle's sponsor started posting it, we all go back to Fort Bragg. I actually led a small group there, and she led a mommy's group there. We were really good friends. I didn't believe it because, see, she'd had bariatric surgery as well. So in my mind, I'm like, don't believe it. It can't do that. That's just from her losing weight. I've been there. I know the deal. I don't want any part of it. So then Noelle joined, and I remember sitting crap. They're both going to call me. Don't want to hear it. So I did call Noelle. I told her I would try the wraps to become her customer. And I did. And I fell in love. But I told her right off the bat, there was no way, no how I would join this business with her. Absolutely not. Her and her sponsor cornered me. Remember, she said the power of the third party. Called me together. And as soon as I picked up the phone, I said, don't want to hear it. Well, I listened, and I joined. I started out with just a defining gel and the wraps. Can I mention what I lost since this is just our Zoom, or no? The inches?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I lost 9 inches in my first month with the products. My results were phenomenal, but I still hadn't shared them. Once I became a distributor, it was a few weeks after, so I finally put out my personal photo, and it blew up. I went ahead and boosted because with my job, I didn't get to do a lot of outside stuff. I had to be careful who I surrounded myself with due to a bunch of different reasons, and I was lonely. Eric was always gone. Now, when I asked him if I could join, I'd heard all the horror stories of people saying, my husband won't let me. I don't know what to do. I called Eric. He was deployed, and he said, if it's going to make you happy, because he knew that while I loved the job, something was missing. So go for it. I don't care. So he supported me from the very beginning. So when he got home, I'm on these calls, which, mind you, when I found out about these calls, I think I literally called Noelle and probably yelled because I didn't have time. You didn't tell me there were phone calls. I was new to network marketing. I had joined a company with her previously, and I had quit, 3 to 4 weeks into it. So I didn't understand network marketing. I didn't have time for it. Okay, listen to me. Didn't want to get on calls. At that time, we didn't have Zooms. It was all calls. Didn't want to be in all these Facebook pages and have to keep up with the notifications. I didn't understand. I quickly learned when people wanted to hear about what I had when I shared my results that I needed to learn more. So the first thing I did is I went and looked at the compensation plan because there was a $10,000 bonus. And at that time, Noelle, I think she had almost earned it. Her sponsor had earned it, somewhere around there, the $10,000 good bonus.
When you joined?
Yes.
When you joined, I had just gone Ruby. Actually,
Okay.
I went Ruby because you were my third leg.
Okay.
But yeah, so I went Diamond a few weeks later.
Awesome. All right. Well, the reason I share this is this is all very important. Even though I joined my friends, okay, because people will tell you that your friends and family will be the last to join you. I see on here a beautiful woman that I like to call Mama Lawrence. I'm not going to call you out too bad. She's one of my 4-H moms. Okay. And she was a customer of mine for a while, but she's watched me do this for 4 years and finally hopped on board with me. So sometimes your friends and family are going to be the last ones. Guys, I didn't have my kit yet, but I knew I wanted to do parties, so I boosted. But what I went ahead and did is shared my results as a loyal customer, and I called my husband's mother. All right, signed her up as my first loyal customer. Called my mama. My mother-in-law is my first customer. She signed up. All right, I pulled every string that I had. I didn't know what to do. I started getting on calls, and then I was busy. I couldn't listen. Like right now, this Zoom, I wouldn't be able to make it. I'd be in a meeting or with a spouse. So I started taking my lunch breaks. Every time I was in the car, it was my traveling university. I would listen. All right. And then I had my party. Even though I didn't have my kit, I scheduled a party. I looked at when my item was to be shipped and I estimated when it would be there and I scheduled an in-person party. And then I started talking. Guys, as soon as my stuff got there, I'm more of an in-person person. I started wrapping people in churches. I wrapped them in the little nursing rooms. I started wrapping people in bathrooms. I went over to their house on lunch breaks. I wrapped everybody that I could. I would get 2 loyal customers, even though I didn't have much money when I started, and I would get my wrap rewards and I'd buy another box of wraps and I'd turn around and sell all of those and I'd make my money back plus some. I literally made about $752 my first month, and only a little over $200 was from commissions. The rest of that was straight wrap cash. I started making meeting dates. Whenever I traveled, the first person who joined me as a business partner was my first Diamond, all right, who's no longer with us. I met her and her husband and talked about it, went out of my way to drive to meet them. So guys, I went Diamond in 2.5 months by getting to work. I didn't wait for my kit like Noelle said. I started talking to people, calling everybody I could. Friends, families. But the way I did it was, hey, I'm still new to this. I need your help. Will you be my guinea pig? Can you let me practice explaining this to you? I know you may have doubts about it. I did too, but here's what I know works and here's what I know they have. And then I'd stay up sometimes to 2, 3 a.m. in the morning and have to get right back up at 5 a.m. because I had the bug. I was excited. I couldn't put my phone down. I went to all the team pages. Back then we had team pages with thousands upon thousands of people in there. I would read all the questions. I would search and find out everything I could so that I could share with people. And that was the beginning of my journey. And I think that's where you wanted us to start, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to put you on hold for a second, and we're going to hop over to Jamie because she doesn't have a ton of time. Jamie, are you back? Do you have sound?
Yes. It was really weird. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, now I see you. Hi.
I literally clicked on mute and then everything just went away.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. So my story, like Noelle said, starts with me seeing those before and afters. But really it starts even before that. I had probably been on how long do you think, Noelle? Like over a year, Noelle had been helping me research products because I was just super frustrated with my health. My third baby, I had been put on bed rest at 9 weeks. And basically the doctor told me, well, you don't have to stay on bed rest if you don't want to keep your baby. And I was like, what do you mean if I don't want to keep my baby? But he said, like, try not to even get up to go to the bathroom. That's, so no showers. I just had to stay in bed. And so I gained a lot of weight and like I lost muscle and just my body was really depleted of everything from that pregnancy. I did keep my baby and I kept him in until 36? 36 weeks. Yeah. 36 weeks. But I spent 3 months in the hospital doing that and, just all of that. So I guess really that's where my health journey starts, is there. And I just could not lose that last bit. I had probably 30 pounds I wanted to lose. And I had been trying everything. I did major workouts 7 days a week, food plans. And then Noelle had, she's always researching. She's my researcher. And she looks into different products. And I have always trusted what she says. If she says it's good, it's good. And it's good for you. Anywhere from makeup to house product, cleaning products, vitamins, everything. And so I tried all these different things, and yes, some of them worked. I mean, they helped me feel a little bit better, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't the right products for me. And so when I saw our mutual friends' pictures after one wrap, I was like, oh my gosh, I want whatever that is. I think just so long as it's not gonna like melt my skin away or something, be horrible. And so that's why I sent it to Noelle, to just make sure it was gonna be okay for me. Now, little side note, history, my husband and I started 2 businesses when we first got married. One is a dog kennel, one is a fishing charter. And so at that time, we were running both of those full time. I was all the behind the scenes, books, all the everything. He would make the sales, but I would keep everything organized. And then in the summer, our seasonal fishing lodge, it was, up to 12 employees, 16 guests a day, getting up at 2 a.m. to cook breakfast for those 16 guests, then going back to bed, then taking care of my 3 kids, then going to clean all the cabins, then taking a nap if I could for 30 minutes, taking care of kids, making lunches, then doing whatever office work needed to happen, and booking more trips, and then making dinner for all of those people too, and then cleaning up, and then getting ready for the next day and getting to bed maybe around 11 o'clock at night to get up at 2 a.m. So those were about 4 to 5 months of my season. Forever. Like, that was just how it was. And when we found this business, we found it in February, so that I started February 23rd. We were gearing up towards that season in our life. And so when Noelle said we were joining the business, I said, no, I don't have time. When am I supposed to do this? Like, what am I supposed to do? And she was like, you can do this. You at least want to you're at least good enough to make enough money to pay for your own product. And when you sign what was it then? When you signed 4 customers in 30 days, you got 120 in free product. So that's all I wanted, you guys. I was like, cool, I'll get 120 in free product. And what's really cool right now is a lot of you that joined last month, you have the opportunity to do almost the same thing, $100 in free product. So, if nothing else, go after your free product, because we have amazing product. But that's what I wanted. And like Melissa said, I boosted too. I got the mini boost when I got started because I wanted to sell some wraps, but I also wanted to use the product on myself. I really wanted to use the product. I was super excited. And because I was so excited, I started posting right away. And I don't know that I was ever scared to post. So I don't know that I could say that. I posted so much that people unfriended me, and people were messaging my husband saying, what is wrong with your wife? I have to mute her notifications. I don't want to see any more belly pictures come across my timeline. And Josh would like get mad at me, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is amazing product. Everybody needs to know about it. And so I think even in the last couple of years, I finally had some of his friends re-friend me. I still don't care. Anyway, so where am I with this story? So I got started. My kit took over 2 weeks to get to Alaska. So if I had waited for my kit to get here to try the wraps, I would have been way behind. And that just, I wanted to tell people, and I wanted to get that free product. So I had to talk about it. And I did have I think I had 3 customers before my kid arrived. I'm not sure I had all 4, but I know I had 3. And then as soon as my kit did arrive, I tried a wrap like that night, put one on me, one on my husband, and one on my sister-in-law. And we all wrapped together. And then I had been telling some of the local girls. Now, I had just moved to a new place, too, so I only knew a handful of people here. I had joined a MOPS group at our church, and so I knew a handful of people. And I had told them about it, and they, again, thought I was crazy. But they were interested, and so I messaged the one girl, and I said, my wraps are here. I know you want to try them. She said, okay, is it okay if my neighbor comes? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And so I figured, well, I'm going to wrap 2 people. Well, by the time, like, I had a 15-minute drive, she called me 2 more times. I was like, is it okay if I invite so-and-so? Is it okay if I invite this person? By the time I got there, I had 5 people to wrap. And you guys, I had no idea like what I was doing and how to wrap anybody. I had just wrapped myself for the first time. But we had a wrap party instantly, and I made $125. Like, cool. It just paid for almost my entire startup cost. So that was my initial start. And, like both Melissa and Noelle had said, I opened my mouth and I got to work. I didn't really know that I was working. I was more having fun because I was really excited. And then, the other part of that is that Noelle and Chad said, get on team calls. And they sent me the team call information, and I got on them. And I started hearing the stories of people just like me, probably some people that had less business experience than me, being crazy successful with this. And I was like, why not me? Why can't I have that success? Mm-hmm. And so I just started doing the things that they were telling me to do. And I went diamond in 4 months. And then the story goes further than that, but I don't know how much more you want me to share.
Share whatever you want. I do. I want to have Amanda on here in a little bit, but I want you to finish sharing your story because I know that you can't be here for.
Yeah, well, I got a couple more minutes. So once I hit diamond, that was really my light bulb moment, and that where my turning point. So I went diamond in the middle of that crazy season that I was telling you about, where I'm up at 2 a.m., not to bed till 11, and cooking and cleaning and kids and everything. So when people come to me and tell me they don't have time for this business, I just say, okay, because you do. You have to make the time. We post on social media. It takes 2 minutes to make a post. People comment, and we talk to people all day long. And I get crazy busy. I'm crazy busy right now. I'm in the middle of moving, and I'm still talking to people because I do take a break to use the bathroom, eat something, It may not be as fast a progress as I'd like right now, but because I don't have a lot of time to sit down, but I'm still talking to people, and people will join me this month. But before that, I went diamond in June, which is literally smack dab in the middle of our crazy madness. And I had pneumonia. So just saying. Anyway, when I saw that first $2,000 check, you guys, that was when I realized this was not about me. This was something so much bigger, and so many people need that extra $2,000 a month. And I could help people do that. And that was when I decided this is my career. This is where God wants me and where I need to be. And I sat at diamond until the next summer. And then let's see.
That's spring. You started the double.
Yeah, April I went double diamond. And then in March?
You were my double.
I don't have all my stuff on the wall anymore. I took it all down.
March. Because I promoted you triple in March and you were my double.
Okay, it was March then. Well, and then I went triple 2 months later, I think. Anyway, I went triple in 15 months, so figure that out. I don't know numbers. And so at that point, I was again in the summertime, our crazy season. I think when I went triple, I was sitting in a camper in Valdez with limited Wi-Fi, and it rained the entire, like every single day. I was stuck in a trailer with my kids because we were planning to hang out in Valdez with my husband. He fishes. And I was so frustrated because I would be trying to do something, talk to people, and Wi-Fi wouldn't work, and it was pouring rain, and anyway, just lots of obstacles. But for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, for a reason, I was supposed to do it. So at that point, I had created. Echoing to you.
You're okay. Make sure everybody's muted.
Okay. At that point, I had created the same income, or I had matched the income of both of our other businesses combined. And that's where I've been this whole time. And then a year ago, I went presidential, and working on ambassador. But more importantly, you guys, like, I want to create diamonds. I want to see all of you guys be diamonds and make that extra income. And it's possible. It's just, you have to get to work and wrap your brain around the possibility of what this can do for your family. And it's different. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's not somebody telling you to go to work. You have to tell you to go to work. And that can be really hard. I mean, even with my other businesses, that's something that I had to learn. Like, nobody was going to tell me that I needed to call people to see if they wanted to go fishing. As crazy as that sounds, like, nobody was going to, tell me that I need to put ads up because I have puppies for sale. Like, I have to do that. And then I have to follow up with people and, and then be that person. Like, now I'm the person that is like, oh yeah, she's the wrap girl. I'm also that person. Oh yeah, they have a fishing charter. Call them. I'm that person. Oh, they have Malamute puppies. Call them. We've created ourselves to be those people, and you need to let people know who you are. So I think I'm going to stop there.
Okay. No, I think that is so good because, like, and just what Jamie said, like, she was a business owner and still owns multiple businesses. And so when she first came into this, she had a little bit of a different mentality in that, well, this is a business. This is what you need to do to get your business off the ground. And every single one of us on this Zoom, if you were to go start a franchise and invest $500,000, you would do anything possible to get that business off the ground. I've actually gotten 2 flyers for the exact same smoothie place that has recently opened. One when I was in front of Planet Fitness and one when I was at Lifetime Fitness. So they're obviously targeting people who are into fitness because it's a smoothie place. And they leave their coupon on my car. And I've gotten 2 coupons now because the people that own that business are out blitzing with their coupon because they know that in order to keep their doors open and pay their bills, they have to get some customers in the door. Just because this business is from you started this from home, and just because you may have come in for a minimal price, so many people started this business for $300 or more, you still have to do the same activity to actually get your business off the ground. Because if you want to keep your doors open, you're going to have to put in a little bit of money and a lot of time, okay? And I love that Jamie and Melissa both came into this business working 60 to 80 hours a week. I was in a little bit different situation. 2 weeks prior to me finding this, I had quit all of my jobs. I was just done. I was like, look, it's robbing my family of any time that we have. I'm making minimal income. I was literally bringing in about $500 a month. I was commuting 30 minutes each way every single day to get to a nanny job, a housekeeping job, to work in my gym daycare. I was on call. I didn't know if I was going to have to be to work at 7 a.m. or if I was going to be there until 11 p.m. And I'm doing all of this with my 2-year-old in tow. So I was just done. I was like, look, it's $500 a month. We will not do A, B, and C. We will not pay off our credit cards. We will not pay off our student loans. We will just sacrifice because it wasn't worth my family time. And I was dragging my toddler everywhere. And it was just, that's just no life for your kids. And so I was doing that so I didn't have to put her in daycare, and I couldn't afford it anyway. But I was in a position where I was able to do this full time from day one. But you know what? There's a lot of you who are in the same position, and you have the ability to do this full time from day one, and you're choosing to just sit on it. And what happens when you sit on it? Nothing. Like nothing. And so you may have joined because you need the money, but unless you actually do something with this, nothing is going to happen. And I love the analogy that Chad used the other day. He said, when you start this business, you have just purchased a Maserati. Okay? Or think of the most expensive car you can think of. I don't even know. I love cars, but I love Maseratis, and they're expensive cars. You've just purchased a Maserati. But now you have a Maserati without any wheels. It's just sitting in your garage. And you sure as heck can't drive a Maserati without wheels. So now how do we get wheels on the car? You start talking to people. You get out of your house. You post on Facebook. Like Jamie said, I was never scared to post. I don't know why people are scared to post. I'm not really sure. We have life-changing products that literally will transform people's health. Like, you don't even know. And I know this because I go to events and I get on calls and Zooms and things like this. And so I've heard hundreds and hundreds of stories of people literally being healed. No more migraines, no more fibromyalgia, no more Crohn's, no more arthritis. I mean, you name it. Their life is completely changed because their physical ailment is now gone. Not gone, but in remission, right? That's what we do. Or moms that call me crying because they haven't been able to get into a two-piece or even wear a swimsuit in years because they've been so self-conscious about their stretch marks or their cellulite or their loose skin or whatever it is. And we have products that really help people, not only internally but externally, and give them that self-confidence back. So I was crazy excited to share that with people. And I feel selfish when I don't share it with people. I literally feel selfish because I know how life-changing this stuff is. So you'll discover that as you use it, but you'll discover that even more as you offer it to other people and help them, and as you get onto calls and go to events, and that's all super, super important. So how do I feel about leaving Blitz cards on public places or in cars? Absolutely. It's expensive. That's how I feel about it. Do it. Blitz cards are not cheap. Blitz cards are about 10 cents a piece. So if you want to, you hand out, if you put 100 cards on 100 cars in a parking lot, that costs you $10. If you can do that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you're going to probably have about a 1 to 5% retention rate from that, success rate from that, from somebody actually calling, because I call that ninja blitzing. And when you blitz an object, there's no communication there. Somebody doesn't see your face. They don't have a conversation with you. They think maybe you're crazy. What is this thing, right? But you might get a couple of calls. So do you want to invest the money? Some of you need to invest the money because you're too afraid to talk to people that you know. And you're too afraid to post on Facebook. But really, we should be doing all of the things. But I want to talk to Amanda Marshall, who was Jamie's diamond for her double, and has just been in the business and was super skeptical. She's going to tell you her story. So, Amanda, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm finding you.
Okay. I'm sitting out on my porch, so I'm trying to stay away from my toddler.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Amanda Marshall, Double Diamond. I've been with the company just about 4.5 years too. I think I joined 2 months after you and Jamie, 2 or 3 months. So my story is a little bit different than everyone else's. What do you need, buddy? To open it? Okay. Sorry.
I didn't that on my one.
Okay. We're packing to go to the park, so they're packing lunch, so we'll see how it turns out. But anyways, so mine is a little bit different. We were a young military family. My husband joined the Marine Corps when he was 17.
Open up my
Okay, yes, I will. I will open that for your friend. Go inside, please.
Will you open that one? Oh, my one. Read that down the box.
Yes. Okay.
Go, my one.
Theo,
At the box.
Theo, go inside, please.
My
Yes,
one
he will
at
be at
the
the park. Go inside.
I locked my children out of my room so they couldn't do that to me. So
They're very excited to go to the park in a few minutes. So anyways, yeah, we were a young military family. We had one little girl, and we had basically banked on being in the military the rest of our lives. That was our plan, because my husband was in the infantry in the Marine Corps, and I don't know if you guys know anything much about military, but especially in the infantry, they don't really leave you with a whole lot of skills to take to the workforce. So he was like, well, I mean, what else am I supposed to do, really? I'm really good at kicking indoors and shooting stuff, but I'm not, I mean, other than that, you can't really use that in real life. So he's proved everyone very wrong on that in the last 4 years. But we just banked on, okay, he's going to be in the infantry for the rest of his life, or at least for the next 20 years. It's a guaranteed paycheck. You know, the military gives you enough to be comfortable with. And that's really all we saw for ourselves. We got married at 19. So I don't really know that we knew how to dream at that point. So that's all we saw for ourselves. And we had a little girl, our 5-year-old now. And one day, thank goodness, and I know this is a God thing, Joe came home and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want to go home. And so home to us is Alaska. And for me, he had just put in a re-enlistment package. We were planning on moving to North Carolina, where actually a lot of my team is at. We've brought a lot of our old military friends onto our team, luckily, just kind of like you and Mel. But he came home and said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go home. And I was mad. I was very angry. And I was like, what are you doing to our family? What are you going to do? How are we going to live? You're going to go to school? Like, you want to go get a degree? Cool. How are we going to pay the bills? Because as soon as my daughter was born, I was dead set I was staying home. I wasn't going to work daycare anymore. I wasn't going to wait tables anymore. The hours were terrible. And I wanted to be with my daughter. So both of us, oh, my neighbor's pulling into my driveway. Hold on just a second. Hey, what's up?
How you doing? All right.
Good. Oh, hold on just a second, guys.
We'll give her a minute. She'll be back in a second. Yeah, we are a very large military team, because a lot of us originated out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. We all were at the same church called Manna Church. And even other people like Patty Miller, one of my diamonds, she was my restaurant manager in Fayetteville. So just from, living certain locations, but we have a very large military team. And so the fact that Amanda and Joe were in the Marines, I just think it's amazing.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Okay, continue.
So anyways, like I said, I was really mad. And so he was like, no, I can't do this anymore. He actually missed the birth of our daughter. So that was a really big thing for him. So we decided to go ahead and get out and head home. And right around that time that he decided to do that, I started seeing before and after pictures popping up on my newsfeed from Jamie. Okay, thank you. Can you take it inside, please? Madeline? I will zip it later. Please go inside. They don't talk to me unless I'm on a call. So
that's how that works.
Yeah. So anyways, so I started seeing before and after pictures, and I had a 9-month-old. So of course my body wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be. So I said, you know what? All right. Jamie has sold a lot of things, but she seems pretty passionate about this. So I'll message her. So I messaged her and said, hey, what is the deal with these wraps? And I actually got signed up as a loyal customer first. Like Melissa said, the $10,000 bonus was on the line then. And I was not interested in the business at all. I was raised in retail. My parents owned retail stores. We owned restaurants. I hated sales. I was like, no, that's not what I'm doing with my life. And Joe actually is the one who pushed me into it. And so I actually got on a 3-way call, which I think is a common denominator with all of us here. Got on a 3-way call with you and Jamie. And I actually specifically remember I was so not invested in it that we were on a walk to the gas station when we had this call. I was like, I'm just going to listen. I'm not even going to take time out of my day to pay attention to this. We're going to go for a walk. I can just listen to it on speaker. Well, I listened to it on speaker, so Joe heard it all. And he's muting it and saying, you better do this. And so, we went ahead and did the business. So I went from a loyal customer to a distributor, and I had 3 months to earn my $10,000 bonus. So you guys, I got started right away. We actually moved 2 weeks later from Hawaii to Alaska into a 1-bedroom cabin with electricity and no running water. I was waiting tables for my in-laws at their lodge, and I was having people come out to the lodge, not even to my house, because I wasn't going to bring them to our 1-bedroom cabin. So I was having people meet me at the lodge to sell wraps, and within 45 days I went Ruby. So I opened my mouth right away. And I actually, the day that I signed up, sat down with one of my best friends, who's one of my loyal customers, and she said, yeah, I think you can make some decent money at it, but I think you're going to lose a lot more money. And I was like, well, we'll see. And so she still buys product from me every month. We're working on getting her on my team. But anyways, so that was where we started. And I went Ruby really quickly. And for us, Joe was like, okay, well, I need to do something that brings in money, right, when we get out of the military. So he started going to school for process technology, which is shift work. It's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 12-hour days. So basically, we would get him about 50% of the time, probably less than we would have had him in the Marine Corps. And so that was really scary to me because we wanted a big family. I actually like my husband, so I kind of like to spend time with him. And and so I just really didn't see that life for us. And once we started plugging into calls and getting to know the team, and I went to events, and I started to learn that you could really dream bigger. And so within our first year, I went diamond and got a $10,000 bonus. And my husband's been by my side the whole time. You won't hear of many supportive spouses, but Joe's really been the one to like push me harder through all of it. He's really been supportive of our entire journey. And so he went diamond and got a $20,000 bonus. So he got the double good. And then we just kept going from there. Now we're both double diamonds and we've earned $75,000 in bonuses. And we really didn't understand like what this business could do for us as far as freedom. He was able to come home and spend an entire year at home with us while he decided what he wanted to do career-wise. And unfortunately, my kids got really used to that. So now that he found a job he really likes, that he wants to go to every day, they wake up and say, "Where's Daddy?" And so we're working now on bringing him home full-time again and being completely retired, but we have some goals to meet before that. And so, yeah, we didn't realize what was in front of us when we started. And it's something really hit me hard the other day when he looked at me and I said, we just need to spend the next 5 years. We're 26. So this was before he turned 26. And I said, just spend the next 4 or 5 years tucking money away. He wants to start a gym. That's his dream. So I was like, we'll save for that so we can pay it in cash. I said, you can work for the next 5 years. You're 25 years old. What's wrong with you? And he looks at me and he says, Amanda, my job is never going to give us freedom. You are the only one that has the capability to bring me home full time and really change our lives. And it stopped me dead in my tracks because I was like, he's right. A 9-to-5 job, even a good paying 9-to-5, isn't going to bring him home. It's not going to give us financial freedom. And so when he said that to me a few weeks ago, I was like punch to the gut. Okay, I get it. I'll get back to work. And so that's been our journey. And Jamie has been a huge blessing. I know you and Melissa are best friends, and Jamie was actually Joe's boss when he was in high school. So that was kind of a weird twist of fate, how we got together and started this. And now she's my absolute best friend. And we talk like 5 or 6 times a day on the phone. So this business has completely changed our lives, guys, but it's not going to if you don't open your mouths. Everywhere I go, people know that I'm a rap girl, and I am proud of it. It bought us this beautiful house that I'm standing in front of. We were able to buy a car in cash, and then I just got my dream car, a Suburban, which, yeah, that's my dream car. I'm a mom, so I was pretty stoked to get my brand new Suburban. Actually, I got surprised with it, so I wasn't that stoked. But, it's just given us things that we never thought that we could. And looking back 4.5 years, I from a 19-year-old, like eloping at 19. I didn't even have a wedding. So from running off and getting married in Hawaii at 19 to having a baby at 21 and then being where we are now, none of that would be possible without this business. So I want you guys to know like what's possible and what you're capable of, and don't let other people's opinions bring you down. My oldest brother, who is like my best friend in the whole world, I've always just adored him. And it took him until April when I went to Phoenix boot camp and I went to visit him, was the first time that he ever said to me, Amanda, I'm really proud of you. Like, this is pretty amazing what you're doing. I know that I give you a hard time about it, but I'm proud of you. And it took him 4.5 years to say that to me. And so it's going to take some time for people to come around, and you just have to get that rhino skin and not care. Because just like my husband said to me, this is the only thing that will give you freedom. You know, I don't care if you're making $100,000 a year at a 9-to-5. You're not free because you have to go to work 9-to-5 to make that $100,000 a year. So just, forget what people think and go for it because it's worth it.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. You're amazing. Thanks for
You're welcome.
Have fun at the park.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, now they're going to wake my baby up, so we'll have fun.
You guys, I love that between Amanda and Jaime and Melissa and me, we all have drastically different personalities, okay? Actually, Melissa and Jaime are the same personality. They're both what I call yellow. I am the opposite of yellow. I'm what we call red. I'm very, very loud. I'm very in your face. And so for me, like, you know how Amanda just said, you have to develop rhino skin. So some of you don't necessarily know what that means. What rhino skin means is you have tough skin. You let things roll off your back. Within a couple weeks of starting this, and definitely within a couple months, I had a lot of people that came to me and they're like, I'm going to have to mute you on Facebook. I'm going to have to unfollow you. I'm going to have to unfriend you. And I said, okay, you're not paying my bills. So until you decide to pay my bills and until you decide to bring my family that financial freedom and that time freedom, you have no say in what I do. And that was okay for me because I know that my real friends and my real family are going to love me no matter what I do. And they're going to honor the decisions that I'm making to further my future. Okay. Now, some of you are afraid to offend people. You're afraid of what people are going to think of you. What are they going to say behind your back? Oh my gosh, have you seen what she's posting on Facebook? Have you seen those results pictures? Hey, I hope people talk about me like that. Those results pictures are rocking. I want more people to see them. You go check out my Facebook page, okay? And people do that. They stalk me. They check out my page behind my back, and then they watch me for years, and then they join me. And that's okay. They can do that. But why are you afraid of that? Why are you afraid to call your best friend and tell her that you found this amazing product? Because when I first started, like we all talked about, I hadn't tried the product. Jaime had never tried the product. She had 3 customers before a kid even came in the mail. And I would go to dance class and I would go to story time at the library because that's what I did. I would take Ava, we would walk places, and I would go to those little activities that we had. And I would talk to the people there. They were acquaintances. They weren't even friends. They were just acquaintances. And I would say, oh my gosh, have you ever tried this? And they're like, no, what is it? And I would show them a picture. Not my picture. I didn't have any pictures to share. I would show them my friends' pictures. I would show them Jerie's pictures and Misty's picture and Jen's picture. And I would say, do you want to try this? And I would have them come over to my house. They would pay me $25. I would put a wrap on them. I gave them some greens. I gave them a bottle of water, and I signed them up as a customer. It was that simple. So easy. I hadn't even got my kit yet. It's not hard. You just have to do it. And sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. But you just have to do it because you're so excited. But we all have just drastically different personalities, and we all had massive success. I've earned $175,000 just in bonuses in my first 2 years in this company. That doesn't happen, you guys, in the corporate world. And when somebody comes to you and they say, oh, that business isn't real, you need to act like an ambassador diamond and say, okay, I'm sorry, you're not going to have success because you don't believe in it, but I'm going to go on and I'm going to have success because the business is real. The money's real. The friendships are real. The personal development is real. The products are killer. And you just let it roll off your back. And when you laugh at somebody, when they tell you that, they're going to want to know why. And then they're going to want to join you because you know better and they have a closed mind. Guess what? You're going to challenge them. and they're going to open their mind because you are 100% confident in what you have your hands on. And the only way you're going to be successful in this business is if you are 100% confident in what you have your hands on. And you guys, fake it. Fake it. When I first started this, I knew in my head the pictures that I had seen, but I had never tried it for myself. This company has a 16-year track record of success. You know in your head that this works. You're doubting yourself because maybe you haven't tried a wrap yet, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. So you speak to people as if you have had insane results. And you get them on a 3-way call, always. That's what I teach my team, and they can use me or they can not use me. But Melissa, I have a question for you. What was your turning point in this business that really was like your staying point? Like that moment where you said, this is real and I'm going to turn this into a full-time income for my family and I'm taking it to the top.
Sorry. Are you asking all of us or Melissa? Sorry.
Oh, I was asking Melissa, but if you're still here, I want to know from you too.
Sorry, I'm a little emotional, guys. I've been sitting here with my palms sweating and listening to these beautiful ladies. So I do apologize. Whew, and my husband's here and he's finishing up his leave. And just to see and be on the journey with these ladies from the beginning to where we are at now is a very emotional journey. But before I answer your question, because I'm going to lose it if I don't, I know we've been on here for a while, but I want to speak some life into some of you guys. Because what you heard today in the foreseeable future will not be my story, will not be our family story. My husband is a lifer. He is special forces. And, sorry. What this business does for us is it gives us, when we do have time, the freedom to be able to decide what we want to do and how we want to spend what time we're given. We're looking at about another 15 years in the military. He's already been in 14. And we spend a lot of time apart. And I do a lot of things on my own. Some of you may be listening to these stories and say, that's not me. That can't be me. But I want you to learn to think differently and to dream differently and to look outside the box. You have to dream so big. Like Jeree says, that God steps in on your behalf. While I know that's not in store for us, I have to dream so big that when he gets out, God has something beyond my wildest dreams waiting. And this business is going to give us the foothold to get there. So if you can't see that future, think about tomorrow. What are you going to do today to get there? Because for me, my turning point was getting to my first event. And I've shared this before. It was watching a drop dead gorgeous news anchor get on the stage who left her job. And she was able to attend her at that time, senior's football game. He was a starting quarterback. And right then I knew there was more out there, even though I couldn't see it. I'm so sorry. Can I have a tissue? So I just wanted to share that and let you guys know that I don't know what that turning point will be for you. You'll never know unless you plug in, unless you come outside your comfort zone, unless you decide to step outside of your box and grow your strengths and develop new ones. You never know what God has in store for you. So while I may go to these events now and watch everybody surrounded by their families, I know that there's a purpose for ours. You have to find your purpose and you have to create a vision. Without that vision, you're not going to go anywhere. I'm done. Sorry.
Well, it was that same event that was my turning point. I came into this business and just because of my personality, I'm just driven and focused and, I just had my eye on the prize and I was like, this is what I'm doing. But I remember coming in and because I'd been in network marketing before, I knew that you had to go to events. In order to be successful in this industry, it's not even an option. Okay? You have to go. And I knew that. But when I first started, we couldn't afford anything. My starter kit went on a credit card. Okay? Went on a credit card that we were not paying money on except for the minimum payment because that's what we could afford. But it went on a credit card because I had faith that this is what we were supposed to do. And I remember there was a boot camp in Atlanta the month after I joined. And I remember telling Chad, I cannot go to that boot camp. I can't afford it. But I will go to the one in St. Louis. And there was one in St. Louis a few months later. And I committed to that St. Louis boot camp when I was a Ruby. I was a Ruby 5 weeks into the business, and I committed then, and I said, no matter what, I will go to that boot camp. Little did I know I would be going to that boot camp as a double diamond. But that was my moment to really see what this company was about. Melissa came to that with me. My sponsor came to that event with me. Jamie wasn't able to come because she was in Alaska in the middle of her crazy summer promoting to Diamond. That's where I met Melody McFarlane and Tina Hatcliffe and Maria Napoli and Chad and Jeree Canneller. That's where that event is where those relationships started. And you cannot replace the relationships in this business, but you absolutely cannot replace what you're going to get at an event. Now, that was a bigger event, a boot camp. And you guys, if you're looking at the corporate calendar, you know that we have boot camps and we have green carpet and conference and mini boot camps and one team, one missions. But they're all important. Anything local, you've got to get to it. Because if you're not connected to the source, you're going to die. I've got a one team, one mission that I'm driving 2.5 hours to get to next week. And I do that once a month. I actually go out there twice a month for a one team, one mission, and then for special training with Denise Walsh, Black Diamond. Who would not drive 2.5 hours for that one way? I would, every day of the week. But I've opened up my car to my local team. It's free transportation, and people still don't want to go. And how many of you would jump on that? So many of you don't have the funds to do anything, and you would kill at an opportunity to go to a one team, one mission with Cammie Dempsey and our Black Diamonds and have free transportation. But that just tells me that you're committed. And it's those of you that are willing to change your work schedule, put kids' extracurriculars activities to the side for a second. Those are you, you're going to be my diamonds. And I can see that. And I see you guys making those sacrifices, and I see you making those investments. And I love that you only have to do that for a short time, because I sacrificed a lot of time with my 2-year-old, with Ava, in my first 4 months in this business. But you know what that's given my family? Debt freedom, financial freedom, time freedom to do whatever I want with my kids whenever I want. Because I sacrificed some stuff and I put some stuff on the side for just a couple of months, and I made it a priority. So it's just a matter of making it a priority. So I'm sorry, Amanda, I totally just talked for too long. Amanda, are you still there? Are you at the park with your kids? She might not be there. Oh, she's there. Amanda, can I unmute you? She's driving. I'm unmuting you. I don't know if you're there. I don't think she has reception, but I can tell you guys Amanda's story, and I might, if she's not going to tell you, I've got to tell you about Amanda. I'm looking for her. Okay. And Jamie, I don't know if you're there. Maybe you want to tell Amanda's story. I will tell it. Nobody's there. Amanda was going to quit. Amanda was going to quit December of 2013. Okay? She called Jamie and she's like, I'm not doing this business anymore. And Jamie was like, you know what? Just come to conference with us. You've already got your ticket. Amanda, if you're there, just unmute yourself. And she was like, you've already. Oh, hi. I was just going to tell your story. So you're here. You tell your story.
Yeah, I went to conference 2014 as a Ruby, getting paid like between distributor and executive. It depended on the month. And I just gotten to the point where I was like, this isn't working. This is not working at all. I didn't get to tell this story or this part of my story earlier, but we moved 10 times in 6 years. So there was not a whole lot of stability happening in my life. But something I realized really quickly was that I can take this anywhere. And so conference 2014 was my first aha. It was actually the worship service where that it's like a whole new story, but I struggled with my faith a lot through my teenage years. And it wasn't actually until right before I met my husband, or started dating my husband, that I felt connected with Christ again. And then, a few years later, I am surrounded by thousands of people who are just sitting there worshiping Christ together, holding hands and praying. And for me, that was my first big aha. I feel like I have like a gazillion in my 4.5 years. My latest one has definitely been the things that this business has allowed us to accomplish as a family. And I told you guys earlier how my husband was like, I don't have any skills, like I'm in the infantry. Since that point, he's been able to almost finish his bachelor's degree. He's working on getting his private pilot's license. He is a Black Hawk pilot for the Army. He's one of the most talented, skilled men I've ever met. But if it wasn't for this business, he would still be slaving away at a 9-to-5 trying to support our family, and he wouldn't have been able to chase any of those dreams. And so at Green Carpet this year, he looked at me and he said, in the next 5 years, we're opening a gym. And we're going to that's my dream. And if you know him, he's like super into working out. That's his passion. So we're in the right place here. But I've never thought that he was super business minded, but man, this guy comes home from work and he's like, all right, I set up a business plan with a financial advisor, and he's like, got it all laid out. And that would never, ever have been possible. He never would have been able to think about that dream were we not in this business. And so I love that we're able to dream together, that sometime in the very, very near future, I'm not going to have to say, hey guys, daddy's at work, when they wake up in the morning and ask where their dad is. And so just the possibilities, I think, are my biggest aha. And the thing I love about it is that it's all on me. Like, I can't blame anyone else but me if we don't meet those goals. And so the fact that I have control of my family's future and that we're not counting on someone else is incredible to me. And that might be scary to you guys. For some of you guys, that might be like, oh, I don't want that responsibility. But why are you letting your future be controlled by someone else when you should be the one controlling your choices and your future? And this business gives us that's
You're broken up, babe.
Can you hear me, Noelle?
Yeah, you're in and out.
Oh, did you get to hear any of that?
Yeah, I heard most of it. Okay. Well, Amanda's going to go to the park. Amanda, I'm going to mute you. She's in and out. But guys, this has run super long. I'm so sorry. We don't normally do a Zoom that's more than an hour.
Oh, well, I'm driving, so that may be why.
Okay. But I just wanted to thank you guys for getting on and just encourage you, like, as leaders, and I'm just going to tell you where me and Melissa and Jamie and Amanda and anybody else who's a diamond leader on here is concerned. We know that you guys came into this business to not have a boss, and we have no intention of managing your business for you. Okay? We are here literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you guys with your business, but you have to be your own business owner, and you have to open the doors to your business every single day, and you have to book parties, and you have to book wrap appointments, and you have to pick up the phone and call people, and you have to go out blitzing, and you have to post on Facebook, and you have to do all of these things that it takes to be a successful business person, but you actually have to connect and plug in and research and learn, do your training videos, and reach out to your sponsor. I will never drag anybody along. I sign a lot of distributors with a lot of really amazing goals because they have a huge need in their life. But just because you have a huge need does not mean I'm going to drag you anywhere you're not willing to go. So you have to be willing to pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, Noelle, I need you to talk to this person with me. Absolutely, let's do it. Hey, Noelle, can you help me host a party? Absolutely, let's do it. Hey, Noelle, I'm talking to this person and this is what they're saying to me. How would you respond? Absolutely, I'm there. but I'm not there if you don't reach out. And the same goes for all of your leaders. Anybody who's a sponsor, you guys have to reach out, and you have to actually ask for help and ask for coaching and ask for mentorship, because the Black Diamond team page is full of anything you could ever need. Our team chats are full of information and coaching and all sorts of stuff and community. But it's more than that. It's so much more than that. And you're a business owner now. So this means you take it seriously. And if you haven't taken it seriously before today, today's your day. Today's your day to become serious, because congratulations, you own a business. That's exciting. Go tell everyone and be consistent, because you might post on Facebook today that you own a business, and then tomorrow you don't. And then Saturday you do. And then Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you don't. And Wednesday you post about it again. You have to be open 7 days a week. Okay? So anyway, hopefully you guys got tons and tons of information from this Zoom. Thank you so much for hopping on and for taking time out of I know a lot of you were watching this while you were eating lunch. A lot of you were driving, you're doing activities with your kids, etc. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you back here next week. Bye, guys.